in 19, I forgot when that was, man. It must have been in early, I had to get that date. Early 2000, they came to the museum. Brother Tarek, who bought the manuscript,
Hmm.
he bought the man his manuscript to Fayetteville for a whole month. And the museum did a display, right? And
Okay.
I gave him a donation so they can recreate that display, and I have that in the my office.
Nice.
So they came to my office Saturday evening. So it was got there about Saturday afternoon, late Saturday afternoon, and they interviewed me and filmed it. And I also have a this professor at Meredith College in Raleigh. He had the task of documenting the lives of the governors of North Carolina, right? Uh, and when he documented the life of John Owen, he 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 gathered a lot of stuff on Omar's life. So he passed a few years ago, probably about 10, 12 years ago. And his wife wrote me a letter because when he died, he left all of his research to East Carolina University.
Okay.
He had like five banker box full of stuff on different
Oh,
things.
okay.
She said when they came to get the banker's box, they left the box on Omar.
Huh.
Yeah. So she asked me, did I want it? I said, I'll be up there tomorrow. And I went up and got his banker's box full of stuff, his research on Omar's life. And I still have that in the office. And I'm not a researcher, so they were talking about you need to you need to create charts and do all the stuff. I said, well, y'all got any know any students that are researchers
Yeah,
that they can come spend some time in my office, do all that? I don't know about all that, nor do I have time right now. But
that
hopefully
would
I
be that would be a great deal for some college student
yeah.
to
And they went
take your
through
stuff and pull other stuff together to add to
yeah.
it and all of that.
And the brother that came over from Dr. Sek, who came over from
Senegal.
Senegal, he was in the office looking through the box, and Dr. Paramore had written a couple of like short stories on Omar's life. And I said that'll make a great made for TV movie, you know,
Hmm.
script for a made for TV movie. So he was asked me, could I scan one of them and send them to me? I said, well, I'll get it done, Doc. I mean, I don't have time to do it now. I know he wanted me to say he can have it, right?
Of course.
So I said, Doc, are you any kin to what was it, Fabala Kun no, Fabala, yeah, Fabala Canute. So he said, who's Fabala Canute? I said, well, back in 91, when we had the first, when Imam Muhammad came to Fayetteville and Ali came to town, and I was trying to identify maybe somebody that was a living relative of Omar and a living relative of John, what's the slave master's last name? This
The Owen.
Owen, the slaver.
Uh,
I had to get my language straight now. They're not slave masters, they're slavers.
right.
So I have a friend that was in Philadelphia at the time, and she was a travel agent. She was always going back and forth to Africa, right? She said, Adam, I know he's a entertainer and whatever. He's from Senegal and he's in New York. Let me give you his number. So I called the brother up and I told him who I was. And what I was trying to do is find a living relative of Omar ibn Said's. And he said he would get on. I said, great, thank you, brother. He said, my brother, did I tell you that I assisted Alex Haley? I said, no. Yes, brother. I helped Alex Haley find Kunta Kinte. You did? Oh, that's great, brother. And he was so appreciative. He was so appreciative, he gave me $20,000. I said, brother Fabana, that's the problem. I said, my name is not Haley, and I'm dead broke. His his whole demeanor changed.
Now that's too cute.
Hey,
Assalamu alaikum.
Like, that's
Alaikum
not.
salam.
I ain't got no money for you, brother. That brother know he's gonna use me.
That is so African.
So I asked Dr. Sek, was he some kin of Fabala Canute? Because if you are, I ain't going for
Yeah, we got a park company right now.
it. I'm done now. So yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, Imam Tariq.
So I'm looking around to read.
Oh, that's a good story. But yeah, I hope that
Assalamu
she
alaikum. Pardon me, I was on mute.
that's
Yes,
fine,
sir.
brother. I do hope that she follows through on doing a documentary. That would be great. It'd be great to have the tie-in, the whole tie-in from Africa. Since if I remember her correctly, she said they pretty much found the village that he would have come from.
Hmm.
And man, that whole story from start to finish would just be fantastic.
Hmm. Definitely.
What would he have been thinking as he lived with these people? I mean, it wasn't like he was a child. He wasn't like 13 years old to have
Hmm.
kids. He was in his 30s.
Hmm.
And being 30 years old at the time that he was captured, I mean, he really and truly was a mature man,
Hmm.
probably with a lot of responsibilities. I cannot imagine that he was not married,
Hmm.
maybe with more than one wife, since he was Hula tribe. He would have had more than one wife. Heaven knows how many children.
Hmm.
Hmm.
But we all we have to investigate is his writings,
Because
right?
they don't even really know where he's buried, right? Hadn't
No,
figured that out yet.
no, they didn't have probably didn't have marked fields for enslaved people,
Yeah, probably not. Unreal.
you know. And it's not like the grounds are well kept.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
They as a matter of fact, when we when we first went down there, we had to walk past some trailers of a trailer park,
mhm.
and go down the hill and there's a lot of growth in there, so it's not kept at all, you know, at all.
They probably would have buried him in the least expensive wood casket
Hmm.
that
I'm
they
sure.
could find.
Hmm.
And there's probably roots of trees and everything that have grown in and around it.
Yeah, yeah. And they've gotten more visitors to that spot in the last 20 years or more with our activity on Omar ibn Said. Other than that, it's just there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's amazing.
mhm, exactly. And you have a couple of scholars that have written books on Omar and tried to translate his writings, but I haven't seen any definitive translations that people can draw conclusions on.
Mhm. So the people who have tried to translate it, are they Africans from the Pula tribe?
No.
Because those should be the people who should be doing it. They should people who are scholars in that community. The Pula will have a lot of scholars, and I'm pretty sure, will have kept uh, their language alive. The language that he wrote in, that particular form of Arabic, the Pula will have kept that
I
alive
haven't
to this day.
I haven't met anyone, even Dr. Seck, because I don't think it's fuller. I don't know. But I
I
haven't
think
met anyone that has even held themselves out as being experts on it.
hmm,
You understand? See, and my contention is that I'm not a scholar or a historian or whatever, but this European influence on Africa uh, has really destroyed a lot of that. Really.
there's got to be somebody though, even if they just did it for a hobby, that kept some of that language. Just I mean, in Senegal itself, there almost everybody that goes to school there learns some form of Arabic. And I know French is a language spoken there. English is a language spoken there. Because they were under French colonial rule for a long time.
Yeah, it is.
But I don't think they ever lost their Arabic. Now they may have lost a lot of the traditional tribal Arabic that he wrote in.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
possible. But I've got to believe that somebody has kept that alive over the years. I would hate to think that all of that is lost because even like the writings all the scholarship that they recovered from Mali that was hidden from the colonialists and invaders and all that stuff that's coming back out now. I mean, there are people who are deciphering that. All those old writings from 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th century, 12th century, because they didn't start hiding that stuff until the late 15th century into the 16th century when the Muslims were basically run out of Spain. And then the Europeans started to invade Africa from across the Mediterranean.
Mm.
Is when they started hiding most of those manuscripts.
But they
They're
hit
all
it
coming
too.
back out now.
They hit it too well, brother.
Nah, I mean, the stuff
They
in
they
Mali
hid
is
it for
coming back out
themselves.
though.
They
Yeah, I understand. I understand that, but at least it was preserved because it is back out now. And I don't know what percentage of it's back out now, but a lot. A lot has been recovered. And I wondered if the same is true of Senegal, because they're right next door to each other, basically.
Mhm.
And they have, they have halfway in Senegal, they have halfway decent universities. I think there's got to be somebody there that can read what he wrote and get pretty close to the original meaning. Unless they just want to keep a distance from it. I said, unless they want to keep a distance from it, a lot of Africans don't want to connect themselves to what happened in the United States, in the Americas, let's say. They like to keep a distance from it, not have to deal with it at all on any level.
Mm. Well, wow. But they don't seem to be astute enough to realize that the European perfected it on us and then exported it around the world. And I have found that they tend to be as messed up as we are.
Oh, I agree. 100%.
And they want to keep it
100%.
so they can keep their distance, but it's all in them, all on them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's killing them. And they don't realize it. I mean, I guess a few of them are starting to attempt to deal with it.
Yes,
A
sir.
few. A few. But most of them are walking around like it didn't happen and it's not happening to them as we speak.
Yeah.
Some are like Imam Talib, some are like Omar.
Walaikum salam.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
So the gang is almost all here. So I'm going to ask Imam Adam Biat to open this up officially this morning.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
Amen.
I mean,
Me.
well, welcome one and all. Oh, to the next to last Sunday meeting of 2025. So just a heads up, just for those of you who will be unrestrained in your efforts to celebrate. Next Sunday is my birthday.
Happy pre-birthday.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
How young do
And-
you feel?
Oh, I feel great, but
Mm.
it's one of the, if I make it. I just read this indeed about in the morning, don't think that you'll live to the evening. In the evening, don't think that you'll wake the next morning. That one of the 40 hadith. I read that this morning. But anyway, if I make it, I'll be 69 years on this planet.
69. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. So Dad lived to 55. My mother, 69 years and some months. One grandfather to 63. The other grandfather to 87. 87 is my target. So I got a long way to go. But I'll be happy to get 69 and make it there. Anyway, enough about me. What's going on in the world? What do we need to deal with this morning and in our plans for the near and distant future?
Well, let me give some news on the Graceline and IRS situation.
Okay.
You know, they reinstated our nonprofit status effective May 15th, 2024. Right? So I went and tried to file a postcard at the end of 12/31/2024. And I kept getting kicked back on that. You know, so I've been calling, I'm in the office, I just call and let it ride until somebody answer. I couldn't get anybody to answer the phone. Well, Thursday, I got somebody to answer finally. I mean, I'll be on the phone an hour, hour and a half, and it'll say goodbye and hang up. So I got a live person, and I asked him. Told him our predicament, and she kept putting me on hold, let her check some things, put me on hold, whatever. Come to find out that no one on their end clicked the switch to say they're approved, right? So she came back and said, "Hey, I was able to change that on our end." She said it might take 30 days or whatever. And it said on May 15th of 2026, you can file a postcard for 2025. So I asked her, I said, well, what about 2024? She said, you'll be all right. The rule is if you haven't filed anything for 3 years, it would be you would be whatever they did, suspended or whatever.
Right.
So if you file 2025, that overrides that 3-year term.
Why?
So inshallah, probably sometime in I think I do it in March. What do you think?
Yes, yes,
In March, I'll file the postcard.
right. Because you are not going to get a determination letter.
She said, well, she said, I know what that is. I'm trusting her. It makes sense to me. You know what I mean?
Right. It makes sense. They are, everybody at the federal level is inept, not because they want to be inept, but because of what's happened in the last 6 months. They have no clue what they're doing.
Oh, okay. So,
I have
well,
a, I have a friend of mine whose business, he had over a $300,000 um whatever tax thing
mhm.
that, I mean, I think it had to do with employee taxes he was supposed to pay. They wrote him a letter and said it was wiped out.
Mm.
He's never fought it.
Well,
He knows he didn't deposit the money.
that's good.
They don't have a clue. They don't know what they're doing. They're just hitting buttons. Whenever they hit them, like in our case, they
Hmm.
forgot. It's it's madness.
It is.
But I do hope that in our case, when we file our postcard return, that we're good.
Well, I hope so.
Let me ask this question. Um, if it will allow you, if what she's saying, it will allow you to file 2025 in May, you're going to do it in March. Where, what is the harm in filing 2024 and 2025?
I'll attempt it, but I'm not sure if. I mean, I'll attempt to.
I would not do it. And
Well,
I'm just gonna, my reasoning, Imam Talib, is the amount of confusion it may cause in their offices if they're entering that data into the database, that it may void everything that they've done. It may confuse them so badly. I would much rather file the 2025 clean and have them come back and tell me that they haven't received their 2020.
Another thing to consider is the postcard is from May 15th to December 31st,
right.
which means that we would have to file 11/20 from January 1st to May 14th. You follow?
Yes.
Okay. So I would rather them to tell us we owe that, or we should do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know, if they don't say anything, no harm,
Yeah.
no foul.
Okay. I mean that I didn't consider that other part of it, but I um and I don't have it in front of me, but I'm going to assume that, or ask rather, when we were reinstated, in that letter of reinstatement, were we given any instructions as to what to do?
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right. So there were no instructions in that letter that told us to to file anything. We would just reinstate it, and it's left up to us to make the determination that we're doing right now.
I mean, nothing that other than saying you lost your status because the failure to file 3 years.
Right.
Don't do it again.
Okay.
You know?
All right. No, that's fine. Okay. All right. Okay. No, I am satisfied with that answer. All right. And I do think that uh, we all should take the responsibility to remind Adam sometime, in March that this is, that we need to do this, to get it done. So that,
You don't mind because I'll be deep, deep, deep in other stuff.
right, right. And
Appreciate that.
that's, just make a note, mental note, or, whatever you do to remind yourself, to remind somebody. Because I don't, we don't want to go through this again. We've been given a second opportunity, and I want to see us take full advantage of it without having to backtrack sometime, once again.
Alhamdulillah, I'm with you there. Assalamu alaikum, Rabbani. Hope you are
Alaikum
well. I heard you
assalam.
were
How you doing, brother?
doing
So,
well, brother.
Alhamdulillah. Good,
So yeah, I
good,
think
good.
I was just going to say very quickly, yeah, we should all put that on our calendar as a reminder to ourselves to bring that up and for us to get that done. That's it.
yeah, because that's going to be just as another reminder. That's going to be right after the Eid, because at the conclusion of Ramadan.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Which is another, that's a great entry point to something else that I want to throw out there. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, time passes so quickly. I want to say it was 2022. Adisa Dewan was working with us at that time, and we had attempted to do a fundraiser during Ramadan with that. If you guys could help me remember that nonprofit site that you can request funds and stuff like that for your nonprofit organization during Ramadan, very popular. I can't remember the name of it right now. But obviously at that time, we were still in a holding pattern to get our 501c3 approved. So all the stuff that they asked for in that period of time, we could not answer it because we were not a fully fledged 501c3. Now that we are, I do think for whatever donations we can get or contributions we can get, we should fully engage with that during this upcoming Ramadan. So what do you guys think about that?
My my first question would be, and I thought this was going to come up sometime today, but my first question would be the email that you forwarded us from Flip Codes.
Yes. Yeah, we were going to talk about that. He was going to come up, but we can deal with it right now.
Yeah, I mean, well, what you're suggesting, I mean, of course, I would, support it. But how is that going to play out with the the email, that was forwarded to us?
Well, in this particular case, what I'm talking about, they really would just simply look at our banking information. So all those dollars would come directly into our Bank of America account. It would not go through a third party. Except for that organization itself, everything flows through them directly to our bank account. It wouldn't go through flip costs.
So it's flip cause that's out of the picture and not us.
No,
How,
we're fine. Our website is fine. We can have people donate money directly to us into our Bank of America account. It's just that if you're one of those regular contributors or you're somebody that goes on Flipcause to use their portal to get money to us, right now they don't have a fintech, like which is a term people like to use these days. They don't have a fintech company that they're working with that handles that with them. So they have a
So,
partnership with that group to handle all money that flows in and out. They no longer have that partnership.
so question, how do they get their money?
That it's direct. Their money that they would collect from us will now they will probably sometime in the next 30 days
Mm-hmm.
ask for a direct link like most of us have with Netflix or whoever, a direct link to our banking information of how we would want to pay them whenever they choose to draw that money. So they'll probably do something like that unless, as they said in their letter to us, they find another partner
What,
to
what,
handle that with.
not so much how, but when. See, right before this letter, what triggered them getting their money was them receiving
Right.
us receiving a donation from someone.
Exactly.
And that triggered them saying, okay, this is applied to your bill.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now it's leaving it up to us or whatever agreement they come up for them to get their money. We wasn't we're not fixated on it because we know that whenever somebody comes into the website, it's going to them.
Exactly.
So the question is, when are they going to get their money?
So if I were them, put that hat on for a minute. If I were them, I would follow up the letter that I just sent with another letter explaining the process by which they are going to receive recurring payments from us.
Okay.
That's what I would do if I were them, and I'm trusting that they're professional on that level. That they'll send that out if they haven't found another partner to deal with.
Well, I'll await that missive from them.
Yeah, I understand. I know. So I mean,
Because
right
they could
now,
be in trouble.
yeah, they could be in trouble. But we're on the verge, one way or another, I think, of resolving, whatever financial concerns that we have regarding them and other entities that we want to engage with. Because I do think that our webinars, the way that we're doing it, the price points that Omar presented, which I agree with, that even with modest participation, we'll be in much better shape to deal with that and what usually faces us, which we haven't really had a heavy financial burden placed on us at this point. So, you know, their issues actually play into our hands a little bit for us to be able to remedy our situation. In my judgment.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sweating their issues at the moment. So that brings us to a couple of things regarding our upcoming webinars. So Omar was kind enough to do some research, develop some price points, both for participation in the webinar and for the booklet itself. And I know that there were 4 or 5 positive responses to the email he sent out. Is there anybody that has any issue with those price points? Omar, that's about the easiest sales job I've ever heard, man.
No, let me
It's
just
slam
ask.
dunk.
Well, let me just ask. When was this email sent? Because
Omar, it's on you. Tell us when.
Yes, let me go back and look and see when I sent the email. Here we go. It was sent on. No, that's not it. That's another. Hold on, let me just search by. Yep, it was sent on Monday, December the 15th.
December the 15th?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Um, hmm. Hmm.
And basically, it was just a price point to charge $75. That would be $50 for the 5-week webinar and $25 for the book.
Oh, okay.
Which I thought was reasonable because, I think all of us have taken the position that we're not necessarily trying to make a killing off of
Right.
people who are find themselves in a financial
Right.
difficult position, and more so that we're targeting populations that need this education, that need this
Mhm.
type of assistance, and
Right.
because they may find themselves in a situation where they cannot pay $200, $300, $400 for a
Yeah.
5-week course. I wanted to keep it within a price range where uh, anyone, if they're motivated, can be able to participate in this education initiative.
Right. 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 Okay. Um, I mean, I think it's good. The only thing I would ask in the future, and this is to everybody, um, when when you do something like this, when any one of us does something like this, um, change the subject matter. I mean, because I overlooked it because it's it was the subject of what Edward usually sends out following a meeting. When he'll send out the meeting on Friday, and then I think maybe either Saturday night or Sunday morning, he'll send a gentle reminder. And I never opened it up. But I don't have any objection to it. I do want to continue to ask for the changes in the material that you sent, because there's no date and time in there for I'm just trying to understand, and I guess if it's not going to be done, then how are people to know?
Right. I'm going to send that out here in a few minutes. I'm just making some last minute tweaks
Okay.
to some of it. But it may be when we print it, Imam Talib, that we print it front and back, right? Where
Yes.
you have the information that you are asking for, the scheduling, the time frames, that is placed on the back of like the main information you want people to carry away.
Right. Yeah. In other words,
Yeah.
I was looking for it to end up being a front and back flyer. In fact, I had I'll look again at the last one that you sent, because when you sent it the next time, there were 3 flyers.
Yeah, because I think there was a request to, I believe, put dates.
No, there was a request to
Let me see what I did.
provide a little bit more information
Okay.
as to what would be happening,
Right.
and and but and I'm looking for the last ones
I
that
got it open now.
Hmm. Okay, well, here we go.
That's fine.
All right, that one, yes. Followed. Where is?
Yeah, so I got the main flyer with the first page is the main flyer with broad information, and then the second one is the summary of what is going to be covered over that 5 week, and the third one is the calendar for the I think it's the first session. No, it's for the whole year. It's for the whole year.
Right.
Uh,
So what I'm suggesting is that the front and back be that first flyer, the
okay.
one with what I would describe as a father with his daughter.
Right.
And then the back would be the 5-week module summary.
Okay.
All right. And all I'm asking is
For the
on,
calendar to be placed.
no, I don't even think the whole calendar needs to be there.
Okay.
Because I think that's going to make it too crowded.
Yeah.
But I think under the 5-week module, if you were to put something like every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time,
Okay.
um, January through October.
Okay, I can do that.
And I think that,
Let me plan
I would, for space purposes, I wouldn't even bother putting a Ramadan break.
Okay.
Because, and the only reason I'm saying that is because we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sessions in January, moving into February, February 4th. My hope is, I think, our hope would be that word would get around.
Okay.
All right. And it would be, but if we could get something like that, and then on the front of the flyer, the one with the father and daughter on it, so that it would also be every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, January through October.
Okay.
That's my suggestion, because I want to print some of these out in full color, and start to distribute them in the masjids, particularly those affiliated with Imam W.D. Muhammad,
Okay.
and hopefully get other masjids to make the announcement, and make these flyers available for posting. And that way,
Okay.
if anyone posted, whether they posted front or back, both of them will give them the information.
Okay.
All right. I mean, that's
I am playing around with the sizing and everything to get it all on one.
right. I tried to do it, and I mean, I'm just not. I know what it is I want to do, and it was getting there, but I know that I was doing it in the wrong platform, whatever I was
Understand.
doing. But
I may
yeah.
have it right now on what
Okay.
you were just describing. As you were talking, I was
Okay.
working
All right.
with it. So let me play around a little bit more on the sizing, so that the information doesn't seem to be blurred and all that type.
Right. I understand.
And then I'll get it out today.
Today or tomorrow?
It'll be today, because if I
Inshallah.
don't get it out today, it'll also
Okay.
grab my
Don't
attention.
don't
And
don't give you that extra time. Okay. Okay. All right. Then today, inshallah, we'll deal with that. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, and I'll take it and uh get some printed, for passing out, and
okay.
and just so that you'll know in particular, um, I want I want to use this um, as an inroad uh, to me still trying to uh, convince the Masjid Muhammad board to get um, to get busy on membership into Graceline to establish this credit union. If as you may recall, um, the imam seemed to have somewhat of an interest, but he wanted me to run it past the business. Um, I don't know what you want to call him. He's the business director on Masjid Muhammad's board of directors, Anwar Salim. But Anwar, true to being who he is, was made it difficult for us to meet. And whenever we did speak, all he wanted to remind me of was the failure of a previous credit union that Masjid Muhammad participated in that was a failure. And he was telling me that people lost money. I don't quite understand what that means, because if in fact it was a legitimate credit union, your money is protected by the FDIC. But now, if he was speaking of people who made personal investments in the credit union, they may have lost money. If you were, if there was some kind of agreement that if you invested so much money that you would get that money back sometime in the future, those people may have lost money. But when I went to him in our last conversation, he was a what I would describe a bit sheepish, about saying to me that he understands that Anwar and I weren't able to connect. But what he did not say was that he nor the community had no interest in the credit union. And so I'm taking it upon myself to keep whittling away on them, because Masjid Muhammad is the type of community that you've got to wear them down. And I'm seeing that with my trying to help the community to get their wills and financial powers of attorney and health cares and all that, together. I mean, that took months, before I was able to do, my first seminar. And even that was touch and go, because there was one member of the board who wanted to micromanage what I was doing. And, I was one step away. I was one step from just walking away, because, I really didn't need them to do what it is I'm trying to do. But but we worked it out. I did the presentation. There have been people who have benefited from the presentation. I still believe and have always had the experience that there are a group of Muslims at Masjid Muhammad that under no circumstances are they going to spend any money with me, because they think I got enough. And, they don't want to contribute to anything that I'm doing. And it's not just me, it's been other business people in the community as well. I have been able to maintain a presence at Masjid Muhammad of our Graceline flyers. The trifold one, I don't have any idea whether anyone there has joined. And I have been able to maintain the presence, Omar, of your financial freedom postcards. So both of those documents remain on, the community table, where they place flyers and postcards and things of that nature. So I want to keep working away at it. The ultimate goal is to get multiple members of Masjid Muhammad to register as members of Graceline with with the final outlook being to perhaps a brick and mortar in Washington, D.C. So that's what I'm working on. It's slow. I mean, it's like what's that animal? It ain't a turtle. The sloth.
So, so listen, listen, Brother Rabani. I, on that note, I uh, I wanted to inform you guys that we had a meeting in Columbia, South Carolina, and it was a meeting uh, that was to have us come together. There were several imams there. Imam Farrakhan from Atlanta, and I had mentioned that what we were doing with the with developing our federal credit union, and we've gotten pretty much ahead. And they said they were also developing a federal credit union, but they didn't have much. Uh, they didn't have much. They haven't progressed very much. But it was a lot of excitement about getting it at his masjid in Atlanta. And I said, well, why don't you uh, join us at our meeting on Sunday and discuss how we can uh, come together and maybe utilize our efforts in order to bring about uh, a federal credit union that would be beneficial to the Atlanta, and also there were several other imams there, and they were excited to hear about it because they haven't heard anything about it until I told them. You see, so I'm going to send them the phone uh, connection so that they can join in maybe next Sunday to see if we have some we can come together and get some things in terms of numbers, because he has a lot of members down there in Atlanta, and he also they have a group of imams there that can also uh, perhaps be interested in it. You see, but that was just something that was yesterday. We had a meeting on preserving Imam Muhammad's uh, metab, to develop documents to uh, reflect what Imam Muhammad said exactly. So, in terms of different aspects of uh, religion, or especially practicing Al-Islam in America, among uh, that we have already, that we've had over the several months and years that we've been practicing Al-Islam, and to clarify uh, things that what Imam Muhammad said or what he did, and to just basically put together some booklets on just prayer. You know what Imam Muhammad mentioned about prayer, and the basic essentials. You see, because a lot of people just saying, "Well, Imam did." Our community is not a legitimate. A lot of the immigrants. You know how they are, and we have our African American people here believing these people because they wear a thobe and a gudra. You see, so that was the meeting yesterday, and we got a lot of participation. We had several imams from around this area, and also uh, up in Raleigh. brother from from Duke also was attending that meeting. It was, and that's quite interesting because they came from different areas of the country just for that one. Well, actually, it's going on today too, partially, and I thought that would be a good connection to have him have them chime in at one of our meetings, perhaps next Sunday, inshallah, and we can discuss what we can do as a group, as a as people in leadership capacities in the community of Imam W. Muhammad. So there's a lot of stuff is being put out there that is not uh, representing Imam W. Muhammad. That's the thing. So, how say you?
I mean, I think that's good. I do want to let us know that, and I'm going to make this presumption at this particular point, that where we end up, whatever city and state we end up in, this is first come, first serve. I mean,
Yes.
whoever steps up to the plate, and we're able to fulfill all of the requirements for establishing a credit union under NCUA rules.
Exactly.
That's the city that's going to gain the prize. So
That's right.
at least that's my opinion.
Yes, of course. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
mine
So,
too.
yeah, so I
You
mean,
know,
if it ends up being Atlanta or Charlotte or Washington D.C. or
that's right.
Fayetteville, Dallas, Columbia,
hmm
South Carolina, Mississippi, you know,
hmm
it doesn't matter to me.
We got to make it. We got to make it happen.
I just want to see the
hmm
doors open.
That's right.
Mhm.
This this group, Imam Furqan,
hmm
is this a different group than the one we spoke to before that was out of Atlanta?
Well, I know. All I know is that they have several masjids in Atlanta. I know, and I know that he's over one, and and there are a lot of So that's why it's important that those who are followers of Imam W. Muhammad, and he was a follower, and he still is a follower of Imam W. Muhammad. It's not some side side masjid type thing.
Yeah,
No,
I know
no,
Imam
that
for
wasn't
I know
that
Imam
wasn't
Furqan. That he's
You know him, so yeah.
yeah, I know him. He's under Imam's leadership, and he's
There you go.
their master is on the other side of Atlanta.
hmm
Atlanta's a big place.
right. So I mean,
Yeah.
I'm familiar with him. I'm familiar with most of the masjids in Atlanta. My question was more about, I want to say 2 years ago, it could be longer. We invited a group from Atlanta, Muslims in our community, who were working on a credit union effort. They came and met with us on Sunday, just like today. And we never heard from them again. We had what we thought was a good discussion that Sunday, about an hour and a half.
hmm
And they disappeared like mist under a streetlight. Never came back and said a word to us or reached out to us again. We sent other invitations to them to come and visit with us again. We heard nothing. So that was my question: is whether this is
Okay.
a new
I don't
group
know
or
who
they
that
just.
was. Mhm.
Yeah, I have to reach out to, because I want to
Yeah.
say I want to say Rashid invited them, and Amira knew of them. She's in Atlanta. She knew who they were. I think Steve invited them. I have to go back. Maybe I might have. In fact, I'm 100% sure. I can't remember the date, so man, I have to go back and do a bunch of videos. But I'm 100% sure that we had a recording of that meeting with them. So I'll see if I can find that particular meeting, because I'm interested in all these groups that are working toward credit union, and I would love to work with any of them or see if we can work with any of them. They're just to date, and just nothing's coalesced, you know.
Right.
We meet
Yeah,
with
because
people and then they're gone. We keep inviting them
yeah,
back and they never respond
yeah,
in any way. So
yeah. So, so that's what we up against. You know, a lot of the people that were at the meeting yesterday didn't know about the efforts that that we're putting forth for a credit union. So I said, well, I'll send you the link, and you can chime in and see what you can what it how you can help or join or uh,
mhm.
Yeah,
be be a part of the
when you
effort.
do
You
that,
know,
when you do that,
'cause
could you
most of
also,
mhm.
when you do that, can you also give them the website address too?
Yes, yes, okay,
Uh,
hmm we'll do that. I got it on my list to do.
mm,
Yeah. So anyway, that's it. That's what happened yesterday, and I thought it was, and a lot of them didn't know about it, and wanted to get some more information so I could direct the whole group to a website and then see what if that effort is if it energizes them to follow through. That'd be great. But he told
cool.
me personally, I was sitting next to him, and he said, "Yeah, I would love to see." I said, "Well, you guys said you've been working on it for several years, so uh, that was that triggered my attention because I remember that conversation some years ago, uh, but I can't recall the date or the situation at the time, like Edward, you know. So, but I know that that's what he mentioned to me yesterday. So I thought I'd convey that today.
Yeah, that's perfect. I
Last week
mean,
I was moving.
I hope so. I mean,
I
I
couldn't
hope
make
they're
it.
open. I hope they're
Uh
open to
huh.
working with us. I mean,
Uh huh.
to me, our community is not large enough and directed enough toward a particular purpose for us to have 5, 6 different groups out there bouncing around the exact same subject. I mean,
Right.
why
Exactly.
not build something together? And then
That's what that's it.
once you know how to build it together, if you want to spin off then and do
Yeah.
something on your
That's it.
own, that's great.
Uh, uh,
I'll help you spin
that's
off.
that. Yeah. That's the idea because uh, you have one central. I mean, it's almost uh, it's almost it's like one and one is two. You
Right.
you get people together. I mean, just like any other bank, you got Bank of America and every nook and cranny of America. And it goes to one point, and then they service all people in those areas. That
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that's necessary. And if we get that through and energy to move on it, that'd be excellent. You know. So, but anyway, we had that meeting last all day yesterday on other subjects too concerning Metab and of Imam W. Muhammad, and actually talking about and how people try to say things that Imam Muhammad didn't say, and so forth and so on. We say, well, we have to defend the information and knowledge because people don't read. People not there. There are people who only know Imam Muhammad by the brothers and sisters who came to those meetings and listened and recorded and then the documentation. Brother Ronald was there yesterday too, Ronald Shaheed, and a few more brothers who were uh, there with Imam Muhammad. Because a lot of things was said that that he said or didn't say. So we have to kind of defend the some of the presentations that Imam Muhammad did, and what he did say and what he didn't say. You know. So, so that's it. That's it for me today. So last week I was trying to get everything moved. I had furniture and stuff that was in my mother's house had to be moved and get all of my office equipment. That's why I was like chaos. I couldn't even make a call. So that's it. So I'm
Good for
back,
you.
basically.
Good for you, my
Yeah.
brother. Glad to have you
Mhm.
back.
Yeah. So, ouch. But still much work to be done. So I could, eat the elephant one bite at a time.
Well, I don't know if anybody had an invitation or somebody that went or yourself, and I'll make full disclosure. There was some kind of a meeting in Atlanta this weekend. I want to say it started Thursday. I think it started on Thursday, and I can't remember, but it was supposedly, and I'm only saying this because somebody reached out to me to attend. So it was the movers and shakers of the IWDM community. Like I said, I'm
Oh,
only mentioning it because I got a personal
oh.
invite. Movers and shakers only. Um, to this event in Atlanta to talk about what do we do to move the IWDM community ahead, uh, business wise, masjid construction wise, and schools and all that stuff. It was something called the Collective. Did anybody hear about that?
No, man. That's what I'm saying. You got these things popping up. Now, when I mentioned that we have gotten a permit to start building the masjid in Raleigh, from yeah, everybody was surprised. They said, "Yeah, you got the permit?" Yeah, I said, "Yeah." And hopefully this week we'll have the permit for the cemetery in Charlotte, and hopefully we'll have the next week have the permit for we already got a permit for yeah, and we're just on the cusp of getting a permit for the Columbia Masjid addition. We only have one signature to get for that permit there. We got our construction, we got our concrete subcontractor ready in Columbia. I mean, in Raleigh, we have a GC ready to go, trying to find Muslims who are qualified to uh, take on some subcontracting responsibilities. And then in Miami, we have about a week or two before we get a permit for that restoration, elevators, and stuff. So things are happening, but we wait until they happen until we make the presentation or make the announcements, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So things are moving, but it's just we learned our lessons from the first experience, saying what we're gonna do, what we have and stuff. No, because that's all that many of them need to block and delay, you know, uh, the progress. Because our people are very impatient. They don't know what goes into uh, getting things done. And when you're dealing with other organizations in the states, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we know that, you know. So you don't want to expose your hand, But we're not all spooked up. So I mean, we've got to communicate on the phone, so we have to communicate. So Allah is the best knower and the best protector. So our efforts, if that is the case, then He'll say, "Be and it is." But we have to make our efforts.
Right.
And we need to inspire the community to work hard and be patient and be diligent, in everything we do. Yeah. You remember the strip mall on in Markham, man? I mean,
Interesting.
there were enemies that came out that we didn't even know were enemies. You know, I'm serious, man. Whoever thought that the Army Corps of Engineers would be the greatest impediment to starting putting up that strip mall. Army Corps of Engineers, how they get in it, But that's what happened. Because we had a building permit from the Markham Building Commission and department. We had the building permit, and and we started doing some excavation too, you know. And they came out of nowhere, talking about the navigable waters of the United States of America. Navigable waters of a rain puddle? Yeah, man, unbelievable. But that held us up, and the Imam decided to sell it, sell the property, which was good, and no problem. There are other properties, there are other lands, it started, but there's a lot of effort that went into that. And what it does, it beats down the some of the weaker believers. They beat them down that they said, "Oh no, we can't get nothing done," that type of thing. But no, it's a fight, it's a battle. We know how to fight, you know, and one battle does not mean you win the war. So we fight until till the law says we finished. That's all. So that's been the case in many efforts that we've developed and tried. So
Still we
what the-
rise.
that's right. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So
Uh-huh.
I sent you guys a the information that was sent to me about the meeting that went on in Atlanta this past weekend. And I just noticed something that I did not, I must have looked over it, that there is a group called Graceline Partners that was a part of this event.
Mm.
And I don't know, Isan Salim, the founder of Graceline Partners and vice president of the collective. And that individual is paired with Omar Kareem, who is the founder of Banneker Ventures, which I believe is the group that developed the mixed use building in Washington, D.C. Banneker Ventures. Does that
Yeah,
ring a bell with anybody?
yeah, yes,
Okay.
yeah. Oh,
Declara,
yeah.
Omar Kareem.
Omar Kareem.
Right. So he was one of the people who was sponsoring this 4-day weekend that just happened in Callaway Gardens. That's like uh, just outside Atlanta. Looks like it ends today. Today is the last day of it. Started on Thursday.
Right.
What was it about? What?
Well, this is one of the statements that they made. Members of the collective have raised more than $20 million to strengthen Muslim institutions within the Black Muslim community in America. Founded in 2012, it's a national network of Muslim entrepreneurs and leaders who generated over 1.3 billion in business activity and who are focused on creating wealth to fuel philanthropy and service for our community. And I'm imagining that I was invited because of Graceline, going back and really looking, because there was no way I was going to be able to go. So I didn't really look at all the stuff.
What is it? What is it called? Black Muslim? The Black
Well,
Muslim community?
supposedly these are members of our community that are doing this. India Ali, who's an attorney, Ubaidullah Evans, Salima Abdul Ghaffar, Suaid Abdul Kabir, Imam Mendez, Amir Suleiman, Jamil Johnson, Dr. Yusuf Salam. I mean, I know who India Ali, the attorney, is. I know who she is. Most of these individuals, I do not know them, but maybe you do.
Mm. Yeah.
Well,
But in more investigation, this looks like it could be one of those groups that when we are at the point of raising capital for the credit union, this might be a group that we would reach out to. See if they want to be a contributor to capital.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposedly a part of our community and so on and so forth, and why not?
mm,
Yeah. Well,
mm, yeah, well, I mean, it sounds like a good idea, but
Well, I mean,
listen,
I'm not saying we should join because
no,
I'm not joining. I'm
no,
not
I'm not.
joining the group. I'm
Yeah,
just
what
saying if there are people with capital and at some point in time we need capital to open the doors. I'm taking capital from any legitimate source of capital
Right.
that's willing to contribute. And this just got added to the list.
Right. Well, I think we're gonna. I think we're gonna get there. But after this time, I'd like to see us move, continue to move in the direction that we're moving in now.
Mhm.
With in establishing this, in establishing what we're trying to do on our own terms. We are. I don't necessarily want to. I'd like to see people come into us.
Mhm.
Yes, we're going to need capital, but I think when we're seeking that capital, we should already know what it is we want and how. In other words, we should already have a business plan, and they either buy into what it is we're trying to do, or we move on.
Mhm.
You'll never raise enough capital to sustain a credit union with that approach. When you're talking about the needs over a 3-year period of time to establish a credit union, that will be in excess of $3 million. If you're going
Edward,
to
I would say
stay,
to you, that's the difference between you and me.
I understand, but
I move out. I
in
move out
capital
on what it is
markets,
that I've got to work with.
Imam Talib, and especially in the financial world, where the NCUA is going to require you to be able to do certain things, meet certain requirements, pay certain people X number of dollars within the bank itself. You're going to need capital. The software system to run operations and connect to the worldwide banking community is going to cost between $400,000 and $600,000 itself.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're going to pay somebody to piggyback on their system, and that's going to cost you $125,000.
Right.
We'll need capital, and yes, we will get capital from people who come bringing their thousands and $5,000 donations, and that's great. And hopefully, we'll have, as you said, rightfully so, we will have our plan in place for them to know what they're getting for their money. That's called an offer. However we do it, and we probably have to do it in some kind of subordinated debt offer to get a majority of the money. But yeah, we'll have that in place. So when people bring their money, that they're actually getting something that's telling them what they're getting in return. We'll have that, but we're still going to have to go beyond this individual and this small group and this masjid to get those funds. And some of it may come from groups like this that may have $1 million that they can contribute toward getting a credit in their community. And you may have to go to them and make a presentation and show them the numbers that you have, what that community looks like you said, whether it's Atlanta, Charlotte, Washington, D.C., whatever, of the community that you are looking to serve, what the demographics are there. And yes, share with them your vision, how you're going to grow this credit, how you're going to market it. What's your opening business plan? But more importantly, what's your business model for growing? Just critical. How do you look at expansion? Where would you expand to? What does that look like to satisfy NCUA? I mean, you have to have all, yeah, we have to have all that together. There are many people in our community that I talk to that if I put that presentation together and roll it out in a manner that meets legal requirements, not what I would share with them if given the option, but something that meets legal requirements. In other words, it's not going to leave you exposed to any kind of liability. Most of them wouldn't understand it. They wouldn't be able to read the first 3 paragraphs of it. Yet they might still put their $1,000 in, sign the paperwork, and be on their way. But to get the majority of it, we probably are going to have to talk to a few sophisticated people. Like yourself, who would probably be a member of this particular organization and probably much more likely to be a member of it than myself, being the lone wolf that I am.
If I was to do something like that, I'd have to have some airtight NDAs. Because I've already had the experience of putting stuff together, looking for funding, only to have those who helped me put it together steal it.
Well, that's us, though. You're saying you have to get NDAs on all of us in Graceline, whereas we're the ones that are help putting it together. The only other people that we will employ, this is in my mind, and anybody on here who's done business before can correct, the only other people that will be employed by us would be someone like these credit union consultants that we've had meetings with. De novo, whatever, credit union consultants and CU collaborators. That's one group or kind of group that would work with us on putting everything together. The other entity that would work with us on putting everything together would be attorneys that we hire who have experience doing preparing that paperwork, which would probably include non-disclosure agreements as part of it. So in my mind, those are the only 2 entities outside of those of us right here that would be involved in preparing our documents. Everybody else is just a capital contributor. And they only get the paperwork that we have agreed to give them when they contribute their capital, whether we want to call that a prospectus or an offering memorandum or whatever. That's all they get. And I promise you, they won't be able to go and build what we built with that document. Their lawyers probably won't even be able to figure it out what it says, actually.
Okay.
But as you said, though, we're not there yet. We're still building something. Yeah. And we're building it internally. And, if I was going to be worried about somebody undercutting us, it would be people within our group who know exactly what we're doing, who know exactly the steps that we've taken, and who we've dealt with, who go out on their own and try to find other partners and say, we can do it better than them. They're too slow. They're too this. They're too whatever. And try to replicate what we've done.
Right.
And of course, there's one of those who I think is actually doing that. One one individual that used to be a part of this group is actually doing it without great
Right.
success at this point, and still doing it.
Right, right.
So I think we're okay.
Yeah.
But and I think all of us are intelligent enough that when we engage other individuals inside and outside of our community to talk about racism and our work toward a credit union, we know how much information to give them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because most of them are going to end up shipwrecked. This is not an easy process.
Mhm.
I'm going to tell you that right now. This is not an easy process. You've got to have some patience, and you've got to really want to do this.
Mhm.
Because it's not going to make you rich.
No. Nope. And I wasn't looking. I don't think any of us were looking for richness.
Hey, hey, my older son was one of those who said, "Dad, what's in it for you?" That was one of his questions. Dad, what's in it for you?
Mhm.
Oh, I was like, man, I'm just trying to just stack up good credits, try to get into heaven.
Mhm. All
You know,
right. Well, um, I've got a long standing assignment that I'm going to begin to work on. I mean, it's try to give us a try to come back to us with a report. Um, I've been plucking out, what I consider to be weak credit unions. Um, to see how, uh, to reach out, or actually not even reach out, but to report back to us what it is I have found, and to see whether or not it's something that we think is worth pursuing. Um, and and take it from there, because there are I mean, I don't know how current uh, the list is that we got. What was it? Maybe a couple of years ago.
yeah, pretty close to a couple of years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
Well.
I mean, the good thing is that, when you're looking at certain ones of those, you could definitely find their fairly current financial situation,
Okay.
determine their assets and stuff. So the smaller the asset base, more tempting.
Hmm. Yep. Well.
Because I mean, I saw a couple, and again, this was a couple of years ago. Yeah. Where they were only open, credit union was open one day a week. With like one part-time employee.
Right.
So situations like that, if you do go and do an assessment of the area and you actually think there's any opportunity to serve our community in any way, or if they are federal and you have the opportunity maybe to take that brand and go open a branch in our community. I've got to believe there's got to be several of those out there that are in that position where either whoever they were serving, that industry or occupation has dwindled. But I think there was one in Raleigh or Charlotte, that was newspaper, like newspaper employees or something. And we know their ranks have shrank tremendously over the last 10 years. Newspaper employees.
Mhm.
So, anything like that, certain places, longshoremen, church related, religious related credits.
Well, one thing, the the list, one of the things that I like about the way this list is set up, and I don't know if they purposely did it this way or not, but it lists these credit unions with their total assets going from highest to lowest. So in this case, I plan to start at the bottom and work up.
Exactly.
Okay, and see what information I can find on them, and it doesn't help as you go down this list. You see their total assets, but then as you go a couple of lines over, you'll find their total net worth. Which I look at some of them, and I would tell you that I'm wondering how they even staying open. Yeah, even if they are open. So anyway, I'm going to keep. And you're right. Most of them on the bottom rung are faith-based. Holy Trinity, People Independent Church, Mount Gilead, Calvary Baptist, John Wesley, AME, Bay Bridge Lodge. Oh, okay, that's a lot. Okay, that must be some kind of elk lodge or something. Yeah, okay, but anyway, um, I got my work cut out for me because there's enough of them on the bottom rung that I think would be worth investigating.
They they open one day a week. Some of
A
them,
lot of those faith-based ones are open one day.
yeah, Sunday, huh?
Well, typically, I would say if they're Christian, that it would be a payday, like a Friday
Hmm.
payday deal.
Friday or Sunday.
Yeah, but more
Hmm.
than likely, it's going to be the Friday or the Saturday. People
Yeah.
deposit their checks or take money out and do whatever they need to do. End of the
Hmm.
day on Friday, into Saturday, and then the Sabbath just be totally, for the Lord, so to speak.
Mhm.
There was one that I remember looking at that was in a community right outside of New York City. They're 1 day a week and open those weekends. 1 o'clock in the afternoon to 5 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesdays. That thought was kind of strange.
Mhm.
They had one employee. And it was an African American community, an African American church. And I actually called them. I called them, and I think the lady I talked to was probably the church secretary. And I left
Gotcha.
the number to have somebody call me back. Nobody's ever called.
All right, well, I'm gonna keep looking. And I'm gonna keep looking and just put a report together, and we can decide where we want to go from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any other business this morning? I know Omar, I think Omar, you have something that you have to leave for, I believe. No. Omar,
Yeah, I just
you
made the
mailed out the
edits to the
flyers.
flyer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the first one, because when I added the QR code, it messed the font up a little bit. So I readjusted the fonts and sent that out again.
Okay.
So you should be able to see what the front of the flyer will look like and the back of the flyer with the combined week summary as well as the schedule for the seminar series. So just take a look at that, make sure it has everything that it needs on there. Imam Tala, do you want, outside of being able to scan the QR code to register, I'm sending them to the Graceline website if they do not want to scan the code. I'm leaving the email address, not the email, the website address at the bottom. Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Because last time we talked, you were saying that you don't know if some of the older members of the community would be
Yeah, as long as with that email, with the email address being at the bottom, that is going to work. I mean,
okay.
they
All right.
won't.
So what I do is in addition to the website being listed, I will also include the email address. That works. I can easily make that adjustment. And then I'll resend this front page out again.
Okay. Now I'm looking. Let me see here. I'm looking at something that you sent at 11:52. It is. I see the flyer, but I don't really. I don't. I don't see where there's been any changes.
Okay.
Not
Let me
from.
try to resend it again because I did add a QR code as well.
Okay, I do see. I do see the flyer with the QR code on it.
Okay. Do you see
I'm
the
saying
second
that,
one with the 5-week summary, and then below that is the schedule?
right. Okay. The So here's what I tell you. Now, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. I missed it. Okay. Yeah. That 5 week summary, that's going to be that's fine.
Okay.
I mean yeah, because that way you got the information in there and then you have all the dates.
Yes.
And that should I'm going to tell you that's going to be sufficient.
Okay. All right.
That's going to be sufficient. The only thing that I would ask that you do
Uh-huh.
is the front of the flyer where you put the QR code.
Yep.
Could you put the Graceline
Logo.
website in black
Yes, I can. Yep.
as opposed to white? Because it
Yep.
kind of gets washed out with that green background.
Okay. Making that change now.
Yeah,
Yep.
and that way, what I'm looking at is the front of the flyer, which I consider to be the father and daughter. Even though it doesn't give the date, it's going to prompt you to say, "Well, when is this?" Turn
Right.
it over on the other side, and they get the full schedule. So
Right.
that'll work.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that'll work. Yeah,
So
that'll work.
I will send the new one with the bolded in black
Okay,
Graceline website.
okay,
All
all right.
right. Look forward
Yeah,
in about 5 minutes.
yeah, man. I think this is going to work. Yeah, this will work because you give the full schedule on the back. Okay. Yep, that'll work. All right. So as soon as I get that, I'll put in my plans to get that printed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Imam Adam, I have to get with you either today or tomorrow, more likely tomorrow, about connecting the Graceline's bank account to be able to accept the payments off of JotForm.
Okay.
And the QR code takes you directly to JotForm so you can fill out the necessary information to join the class. I'm still playing around linking how they're going to receive the class material, the book. So I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to send them directly to um, Lulu, the publishing site, or directly to Graceline. And did we ever put the information for purchasing the book on the Graceline website
Not
with Flipcars? Not yet.
not yet. But here's one of the things I want to do. I want to check with Flipcars to see when we have a button for them to register here, if it
Yeah,
can link to the Jot form.
yeah. So I can definitely send you that link to the Jot form. You can
Okay,
share that with Flipcars. I'll do that in the next email.
okay,
And then that is the link that people can use to go and register directly, right? So
okay.
that link can be shared,
All right,
and it could be put on the website through Flip Calls. It's directly linked to QR code that has been created. I can send that QR code in the email as well as a PNG, so that can be
okay,
shared.
okay,
However you all want this to be shared, we can create those mechanisms.
okay. The other thing that I'm going to work on is to what's the cost of the book going to be?
$25.
$25. But now let me did we discuss did we discuss I thought at one time we had a discussion about the book only being available for class participation. Am I mistaken about that? In other words, if somebody just wants to buy the book on their own, can they do that? And
We had that.
not participate in anything?
We had that discussion that the book would be it's a class required, book
Okay.
for the webinar, and we're
Okay.
selling the book as a companion to the webinar.
Right. Okay. All right.
And I believe it was the desire of this group not to sell it wholesale or to make it available for just book purchase. That was
Okay.
my understanding of it, and
Yeah.
it would just be a webinar series required
Right.
text.
Right. At this point in time, I think I do recall that discussion, and I do think that's where we landed. Okay. Um, so we'll have to make, let me think for a second. So there won't be anything about the book on the donation page unless that's how Flipcars does it when people register.
Oh yeah. Well, see, they would be paying through. Oh my goodness, I forgot all about that challenge with accepting payments on the website right now. Um, what I can do is continue to work on the job form
Mhm.
and have it where they can purchase the book on the job form directly. So they'll register for the webinar. They'll pay the $75, and we can collect the information to be able. Let me think this through.
Because
Let me think it through.
and I'm going to do the same thing.
Yeah, let me think it through because I'm gonna have to
Okay.
link. I'm gonna have to be able to link it to where they can purchase it directly from the publisher, and it can be sent to them. Yeah, let me think that through
Okay.
on how we can do it for this initial launch. It may be
Right.
a little wonky at the beginning. I admit to you all, it may be a little wonky at the beginning, but I think we will be able to smooth things out as we get our workflow kind of developed and it's working at its full potential. But I need to think it through and see how we're going to link where people can purchase the book. The other thing that we can do is that we can sell the PDF, and
Mhm.
that can be. And then I'm gonna have to figure out how they can download the PDF without sharing it, beyond those who have signed up for the webinar. Yeah, let me think it through. I'm
Okay.
gonna spend some time today doing a little bit of research and thinking it through on how we can do that.
Yeah.
And forgive me for not kind of thinking this through at the kind of beginning of this. I just know just from experience it's going to be wonky. The
Yeah.
first
No, I
the first
understand.
launch is going to be wonky.
Yeah. I went through this with my wife, and in fact, I'll ask her again what it is that she has with her ebook, because she has something with her ebook that does not allow people to share. But I'll ask her that. Once they purchase the book, it's theirs only.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah. So let me ask her about that.
Okay.
And
And I do remember looking into this because we had this discussion before.
yep.
And I do remember looking into it and doing some research, but I cannot recall the platform right now. I want to say it either
Right.
was
I'll get you the platform
okay.
because we have it.
Okay. All right. Cool.
We
All right.
we have it. I just, this is my wife is into this stuff, man. She's self-taught, but uh I rely on her. So I'll ask her what platform she has for her ebook, and I'll pass that on to you. I'll either email it or text it to you. Yeah. All right, y'all. So, um,
Okay.
About ready to get out of here today.
yeah, I don't have anything else. No, I don't have anything else.
Yeah. Well, I mean that being the case, for Bonnie, anything lingering that we need to touch on?
No, that's I'm going to contact a few people, uh, inshallah, this week and see what we can do to. I'm gonna try to get in contact with Dr. Ali and a few others to see what's
Okay.
happening. Okay, and then get a link to Imam Farouk and see if we can at least get some preliminary discussions on what can happen. Okay,
Okay.
and
I
there's
think
a few
all
more. Yeah.
I was going to say, I
Go
think
ahead.
all of us should maybe make a list of at least 5 different
Hmm.
masjids that
Hmm.
once we have all our flyers and everything available to us
Exactly.
in a
Hmm.
finished
Hmm.
form for these
Hmm.
webinars, that if each of us can contact 5 masjids and
Right.
get and work with them to, display in whatever way they do best to
Hmm.
the believers there about our upcoming webinars, just to see how many people we can get engaged.
Okay. Right. Okay.
So if there's nothing else, Imam Talib, will you close us out?
Yes, sir. Let me just shut this down here. Billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Rabbana hasnatan afirakirati hasnatan akina dabina. O Allah, give us good in this world, good in the after, and defend us from the torment of the fire. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Bismillah.
Me, everybody go have a
All right.
wonderful Sunday. And I'm
Bismillah.
sure we'll be in touch with each other in this coming week.
Yes, sir. All right.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum
Assalamu
salam.
alaikum to that.
All right.